This is the Tree Service Marketing Profits Podcast, where tree service business owners, industry experts, and marketing pros share real strategies to help you grow, scale, and dominate your local market. Hosted by Wesley Smith and the team behind Tree Service Digital, dedicated to helping tree service companies explode their online visibility and generate more business to grow. Want the tools to grow your tree service business? Grab the ultimate internet marketing checklist at treeservicedigital.com/checklist and join thousands of pros in our free Facebook group, Tree Service Marketing Secrets. Now, fire up the saws. Let's get into today's episode.
Welcome to another episode of Tree Service Marketing Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Wesley Smith with treeservicedigital.com. And I hope you guys are had a good weekend. This is Monday. We're recording this. If you're on the YouTube channel watching this, like and subscribe to our channel. We got plenty more interviews coming up with business owners, with experts, people in the industry. And if you're on a podcast player, you can like and subscribe or listen to it on any of your favorite podcasts. And I've got another video marketing webinar coming up, a training coming up in the next couple of weeks. You're going to want to see that. It's really helping with AI, search, and different things like that. But we'll get right into today's episode. I want to welcome aboard the podcast today, Preston Frederick, with Utah County Tree Care. Preston, thanks for joining, man, and hopping on today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Yeah, great, man. So you're Utah County Tree Care. How long have you guys been around? Like, how did you get started in the tree service business? I guess first things first.
Yeah, we've been officially a business for about a year and a half, but I've been in natural resource management for about a decade. Started working for the U.S. Forest Service and doing some wildfire management. Did a 2-year program with the Bureau of Land Management. This is all in Southern Arizona where I grew up. And when I worked for the BLM, I spent a lot of time with the botanists in the office and just got really into the local flora there in Arizona. And then my wife grew up here in Utah, so we moved here a couple of years ago, and I worked for a local city as an arborist specifically. And so I got certified there, got trained up, and decided I could make a little more money outside of government work. So I'm still in the process of transitioning. So I work part-time for the city still, and then I work on my own business probably 4 to 5 days a week, just depending on how things are going.
Okay, awesome. So you got that formal training working for the government, kind of forestry, things like that. And that was in Arizona, so totally separate state. Probably,
Yep.
Is it similar vegetation as Utah, or kind of like a lot different, like tree species and things like that?
Completely different. I was in the Sonoran Desert, so our tallest tree was like a 40-foot sycamore. But here in Utah, there's it's somewhat similar. It's still an arid climate, but the tree species are much different here.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, and it's just a little more like green and lush and big, tall, huge oak trees and things like that here. And we've had clients in Arizona before. It's the reason I bring it up is, sometimes we get pictures of the jobs and write these case studies on the website about their job descriptions and things like that. And typically the trees are sometimes about as high as the house roof,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit lower, so you just never, like the desert area is a little bit different vegetation. Well, good deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so got that, then got the arborist training as well,
Mhm.
and then just decided like, hey, look, I think I can go out and do this business. And actually, because I know a lot about trees and all those types of things, probably had to kind of transition into learning how to maybe do the technical tree service work, I would imagine at first. Did you do that a little bit on the side or with a company first or anything like that?
Yeah. When I when I was full-time with the city, there was a full-time tree crew. So, I did like a little bit of the technical side of tree removal and rigging, but it took a lot of failures to learn how to do some more of the advanced and technical part of tree work. Made a lot of mistakes last year, but hopefully I don't make those again this year. I've always kind of had like a desire to, I don't know what to call it, but I've always wanted to own a business. My parents were entrepreneurs and, fairly successful, like they provided for us. So I had always in the back of my head that I would eventually do that. And so, yeah, I started transitioning from working full time to taking a couple days off a week, and really learning how to do tree work on the private side because it's totally different, right? Like removing a tree in the backyard of a house is a lot different than just managing street trees along the city roads. So it took a while and I'm still really new, but I feel like I've come a long way in the last year on learning the technical side of tree work.
Awesome. Yeah, similar background story for me. My mom and dad were business owners, so I got to see that every single day, waking up early, working a full day, no excuses, got to get the work done, right? No matter what.
Hmm.
They owned a plumbing service business here in the Atlanta, Georgia metro area. So same thing, like you get to see them in action, see them work. It's just kind of part of your DNA, I think, at some point, And then the other story too, I always like to talk about this because we have people on the podcast in various stages of their business. Some people are just starting out. Some people have been going 5, 10, 15 years. Other people have been in the business for a long time. It's went through different generations in their family. But what you're doing, I think, is the smartest path to naturally progressing into owning your own business, from just everything I've studied over the years and read about and listened to podcasts about too. It's like if you could start it on the side and start proving it to yourself, you can make an income with your business on the side. It's just way less risky than like burning the boats, jumping in head first and hoping for the best, right? You kind of building up a little clientele, proving it to yourself, getting everything kind of down to a science, and then now you're ready to do that and it's not so risky. That's kind of your thought process, I would assume, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I really wanted to quit my full-time job a lot sooner because I was really excited because I was having some traction, um, just posting in like the local city YouTube groups or Facebook groups rather, getting a little bit of work done that way, and just some word of mouth. And so I feel like I had a proof of concept before making a transition into trying to do this more full time. So uh, it was really reassuring to have like just a little bit of proof before yeah, leaving and buying more equipment. I had a few chainsaws, but now I have a dump truck and a chipper, and that was like a big purchase, and I couldn't have made that without some proof. I mean, I could have, but maybe I would have ended up way in over my head.
Yeah, absolutely. And so take us a little bit through like you got the business going. You're still doing. It sounds like you're doing about 4 days a week.
Hmm.
As demand picks up, that'll probably increase, and then
Yep.
kind of got to make that decision at some point. Which direction to head full time,
Yeah.
and I imagine that's coming probably sooner than later. Busy season's right around the corner too, so
Hmm.
get all that going. And so you're doing that. What types of services are you guys providing at Utah County Tree Care?
Yeah. We kind of do everything right now. We mostly do like small to medium size tree removals and plant healthcare. My parents owned a pest control business, and so I feel like I kind of grew up in the pest management and weed management. I just feel like I had a lot of knowledge about that because of my parents. So it kind of goes hand in hand here. Um, I'm trying to like narrow in on plant healthcare. I don't want to get too spread out and try to do everything. Like I have no desire to own a crane or a huge grapple truck or something like that. I'd rather own a couple vans and do some more plant healthcare and maybe have one crew that just does removals and trimming. But right now we're doing everything just to stay afloat.
That's great, man. And you know what? Yeah, with your background with pest control and things like that, these things are going to come more natural to you, and probably you're going to learn it a lot faster because you already kind of have that background information on it.
Yeah.
And so I think, you sound like a smart guy. Like when you're out on a job site or a customer's property and you're going to tell them, hey, these are the pests that potentially could harm your trees, and this is what we do to prevent it and,
Hmm.
cause that not to happen. They're going to want to listen to you and do that. And I think that's a really good avenue of this business, and people that are doing the traditional tree services. There's kind of a transitional period. Like if you have a customer database, this is why we always talk about this with our clientele and just talk about it on podcasts and stuff too with other business owners. Like keep a contact database of all your customers, right? In today's day and age, there's all these minimum viable products like Jobber. You get Arbostar, Arbor Gold, Single Ops, any one of them that you want to use. It doesn't even have to
Hmm.
be tree specific, but just keep a CRM with all your customers in there. And when you want to pivot and transition to this plant healthcare side of things, if you do, you can easily just educate your customer base. You've got this ready-made list that already trusts you, have used you before, or at least you've given an estimate to all these people.
Mhm.
So they already know who you are. So it's just an easier way to kind of get the word out, and we always just recommend doing that.
Yeah, and for plant healthcare, it's been quite easy. Our soil is really alkaline here, and every builder and homeowner decided to plant autumn blaze maple. So they all get really chlorotic in the summertime. And so doing soil injections and macro infusions for iron treatments is it's a really easy sell, and the margins are quite high. And so I'm really trying to focus on that. And yeah, I've got a spreadsheet with all my customers, but also I use QuickBooks to invoice and do estimates. So I can do a little bit of email marketing that way, and it's been really successful so far, and the cost is really low.
Very true. Yeah. Emails are basically, you have your platform that you may send the emails out to, put a
Mhm.
little bit of effort into designing it or coming up with the content or the avenue that you're trying to push with the email, but it's not, like paid ads type thing, right? You can push it out to the
Yeah,
entire list. And so,
yeah, for sure. And you already have at least hopefully you have a good relationship with your previous customers, and so uh, I feel like they're a lot more interested to hear what you have to say than the 50 mailers that come in the mailbox every week.
well, that's right. They've already talked to you before and they know who
Yeah.
you are. So they've already put in the face to the business, which
Hmm.
is why we recommend doing a little bit of video marketing too. So if you have any kind of like how-to explainer videos, those are going to go a long
Hmm.
way with plant healthcare because people want to know who they're going to be talking to when they call this company. It doesn't necessarily have to be the business owner that comes out. Once you scale the
Yeah.
business, it can be just the lead arborist, or you can have several arborists to come out and talk about that stuff.
Mhm.
But just having those how-to videos and they know who's behind the business just goes a long way, right? It gives people that trust to give you a call.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much away my secret sauce marketing strategy, but right now I've got a bit of a strategy doing YouTube Shorts. I don't know all the intricacies, but I know that Google purchased YouTube recently, not recently, but a while ago, and I know that their captions are searchable on YouTube, and so I've been doing like just really short how-to videos or like a project showcase, and the title of the video will be tree removal in blank city, and so hopefully when people are searching, that video will come up and hopefully have some social proof. And yeah, I don't know.
$100%.
I think videos a huge part of marketing, and I think it's like an untapped strategy that most people are too busy, or maybe they're afraid to be on camera, which I am, but you got to do it.
You just hit the nail on the head right there. Yeah, YouTube is the second largest search platform online right now, and then
Mhm.
Google owns it, right? So then it's like, okay, they're going to have similar algorithm
Yeah.
games going on. So they're going to show people the same type of stuff, whether you're searching on Google or on YouTube, which is nice. And then the other thing is yeah, most people, if you really want to get ahead of the competition, start doing videos explaining what kind of work you're doing, explaining the tree species, explaining how you're going to remove trees technically, you're more safe.
Mhm.
All of these things are going to put you head and shoulders above the competition in most cases, just simply because most people don't want to get on video, and,
Yeah.
and I mean, heck, I was like that too several years ago. It's hard to kind of put yourself out there. Once you do, you find out, yeah, you know what, nothing that dire happened. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
pass away from doing a video. So I think I could do this. And so if you do more of that and those explainers, people will naturally gravitate to your content because you'll be one of the only people in the area doing that.
Yeah.
If there's 100 tree companies, there's probably less than a handful of people that do any video marketing.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, like, if you can just bring your business to life and make it more personable, people will buy from Preston, right? They know
Mhm.
who Preston is, and the name of the company is secondary, but Preston explained this to us. And you're right, they're all searchable, the headers on
Mhm.
YouTube, and then putting a little bit of a description in there, maybe with a few more like keywords, which are
Yep.
things that people search, in the local
Yeah.
market. You can put hashtags on there. And but those are perfect, man. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good way to do it. That is a secret to really kind of exponentially growing your company quicker and getting out
Mhm.
there faster is by doing those videos.
Yeah, and they're not like well produced. I try to get like a decent lighting and a good angle, but it's really simple, and I just come up with it off the top of my head. And some some Google searches, you have an AI overview at the top now, and a lot of them will have links to videos in the bottom. And so I'm really trying to get a lot of people look at that AI overview first, and maybe they'll click a blue link in there. And so I want to rank in that AI overview more than I want to rank, in a regular SEO search. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for the most, is that I'll show up there versus, even just third or fourth, because nobody's scrolling. So I want to be at the top.
Yeah. So that right there is perfect for AI overviews. 100% correct there. You want to kind of be showing up in those areas. And a lot of times they are pulling from YouTube, they're pulling from Google. The other part is Google Maps. So get a ton
Mhm.
of reviews on your Google business profile. Just constantly keep doing that. And eventually you'll move forward past the competition. You'll end up in kind of the top 10 or 12. Then you'll
Yep.
move to the top 5 or 6. If you just keep doing it, some people just stop doing it after a while, thinking that they're okay,
Yeah.
or they've got enough. And so you just need to keep on moving with those. So those two things are huge factors.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard you talk about Nice Job before, and my parents' business used it, and they went from like 100 to 500 reviews in a couple months. And they had a huge previous customer base, which helped. But I've been using it, and I get maybe 80% of people, of my customers, will leave me a review. And so I've gone from 0 to 100 in a couple reviews in a year, which has been great. I mean, I part of my strategy was picking a name that would be really easily searched, um, for my business. And then, yeah, just having consistent reviews helps me rank higher than companies that have been here for like 15 years. So it's been great.
That's exactly right. And that's another reason and a benefit to continue to build your CRM, your customer database. Like your
Mhm.
parents, you said they had several thousand contacts in there. I mean, we do this a lot of times with clients on the beginning is we'll take their customer list and upload that to a review platform such as Nice Job, right? Which is really good, easy interface to use. And so we use that one. You can upload your whole database in there. If you've never tried this before, or maybe you just haven't asked for reviews over the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you've got this ready-made list, right? So you can upload that to the review platforms and literally just get them to, it'll trickle out these review responses. Hey, sorry there. I think it was my internet.
No, no worries. Yeah, mine was good.
Okay, perfect. So we'll keep going without too much of an interruption there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you take this customer database, and we usually do this for quick wins, right, for clients. And so it really helps because a lot of times they got 2, 3, 5, 10,000 contacts in there. And what we
Yep.
see is usually 30 to 40 5-star reviews per 1,000 contacts. So we've
Hmm.
gotten a few clients 350 5-star reviews in 90 days.
Yep.
Some people 100, some people 60, some people 250. Just depends on the size of their list. But man, what a ready-made thing to just literally boat race the other people online really quickly if you can just do that. So
Yeah. I really like the feature of like being able to just create an invoice and it sends the link, for them to uh, leave a review. It just takes all the hassle right away from me.
it really does. And you can integrate a lot of these tools with QuickBooks, with Jobber,
Hmm.
with some of the other CRMs. Some of them don't integrate with anything. They just don't want to allow anybody to be able to access their software or whatnot. But
Sure.
if you can integrate it even with QuickBooks, after an invoice is paid, like you said, you can just enroll them right into a review automation.
Yeah.
And that
I
really
like it a
helps.
lot.
Well, it
Hmm.
just takes out having to ask all the time. Now, if you plant that seed when you're leaving the job, you're more
Yeah.
likely to get that review too, like you said. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I always kind of leave like um, I'll say something like, I'll send you a link to leave me a review, but no pressure. But we'd really like it, but no pressure.
Really helps us out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really helps us
Yeah.
out online. If you could do that, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Just
Yeah.
really good ways to ask it, just be appreciative and thankful and all that stuff. And most people will
Yep.
do it. If you did a great job, they'll do it.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but Preston's shared a lot of great nuggets. If you guys are watching this, like and subscribe to our channel. If you got any questions, leave a comment below if you're on YouTube, and we'll come back and answer the question. So you're doing the plant health care. Now, those are typically kind of recurring treatments. Are you coming back quarterly? How does that usually work?
Yeah, it sort of depends. This is kind of the first, like 2026 is the first year I've really started getting into it. So I don't really know what's going to happen. We don't, it's mostly fertilizers right now. So soil injections will probably be spring and fall. Um, we've done a little bit of Cambistat, which is a growth regulator on evergreens. It's been so dry here that the all the evergreens are looking really sad already this time of year. So, but that's kind of hard because that product you can only use a couple times or once every couple of years. So, not sure how that one's going to go, but not doing a ton of pest control yet. We've got some bark beetles we've been spraying for, and those we're probably going to do, quarterly or maybe twice a year, depending on that pest activity. But I'm still building that, so I don't really know what that looks like quite yet.
No, yeah, no problem. I mean, you'll learn that as you go, and I'm sure there's a lot of great people you can source to get some of that information from as well. I mean, TCIA is a good place to be a member. A lot of those other places. It sounds like you already kind of know the direction you're going and all that, so you'll be fine, I'm sure. Now, other people that may or may not be familiar with Utah and the types of like pests or different things you would be treating for, like once that does come up, take us through a little bit of that. Like, what are some of the things that homeowners or property owners have to look out for in their trees, or what types of pests are kind of big in your area?
Yeah. The main one, which is more of an environmental issue, is like I said, our soil is really alkaline. So some oaks, basically all maples, and a couple other things like flowering pear, even grapes really struggle with iron. So we do a lot of iron treatments. And those are easy for a homeowner to do. You know, they can go pick up chelated iron from the hardware store. It gets trickier when it's a big tree because you need so much product. So that's where doing the direct injections can be a lot more cost effective for the customer. It's a lot easier. And another big one we struggle with is anthracnose in sycamores. It's a fungal disease, and we have some really old, big sycamores here in Utah, especially in southern Utah County. Like most of the cities around here have city-owned trees that are 100 to 150 years old, and so they're really trying to save them. So I've done a couple treatments for local cities, just trying to protect a really valuable tree. Something that you can't be replaced and grow up in 15 years and look the same. And a lot of homeowners have them too. So that's a big one. And then as far as pests go, we have bark beetles here, and with drought stressed trees, pine trees specifically, they get pretty hammered. So my trees right outside my window have bark beetles, unfortunately. And I'd say that's probably the biggest threat as of right now, but eastern ash borer will probably be here pretty soon. And we have some really big old ash trees here in the southern part of the county. So once they're closer, I think I'll probably start thinking about doing preventative treatments for highly valuable trees, but we haven't reached that yet.
Awesome, man. That's good information, because every area of the country, it's always interesting to kind of hear about what's going on in every state and different region, because there's different types of trees, different types of pests, different types of issues. And then, like you said, with the soil being so dry there and all of that, I've got people that I know, just friends, family or things like that have tried to go skiing this year or went skiing this year. They go out west, Colorado, Utah, wherever, Vancouver, and they were like, man, there's just no fresh powder. It just hasn't snowed that much. So I guess
it's been pretty wild.
Does that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. Hopefully next year's better, but this year we got to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool, man. I want to be respectful of your time too. I know that we've talked about YouTube shorts and things like that for marketing. That's awesome. Getting reviews, you're killing it with that. First year in business, over 100 reviews. I mean, that's amazing, man. I mean, it's just going to be a few short years. You're going to have 500 reviews, which is probably way more than most people have in the whole area. So that just catapults you forward a good bit with online marketing anyway. So that's awesome. Anything else that you guys are doing? Any kind of like flyers, door hangers, anything like that?
We did mailers kind of mid last year. Had some mixed results. The agency I used, I don't think I should double check, but the demographic just wasn't quite right. So I got a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth for mailers, but I'm open to trying it again this year. I think I might give it a shot. But yeah, we're doing door hangers right now. Gonna test out like 1,000, and then I don't know how effective it is, but it seems effective. Updating my Google business profile. There's a button where you can post an update. It's kind of like a blog for your Google business page. And I've been doing that twice a week. I'll just schedule the post so I don't have to do it, every couple days. But I don't know to what extent it helps, but it seems like when I don't do it, I rank slightly lower on Google search in the map pack. So that's been good. And then we run local service ads, Google guaranteed stuff. So we turn that off in the winter. I just turned it on about a month ago, and the leads were kind of high. I feel a little bummed out about how much I spent on those leads, but it's effective. We get maybe 15 to 20 local service ad calls a month. And it's pretty targeted. Like I only have a couple cities where I am searchable for local service ads. So I'm not, driving an hour for, a fruit tree prune just to do an estimate. So that's our strategy right now. It will probably shift a little bit as we get some more cash flow and can do some more stuff.
Yeah, that's the way it rolls. You just continue to stack things on top of each other. You test and you figure out what's working, because what works in your market may not work in a New Jersey market or a Georgia market or a California market. So it's always good to test a little bit of everything, because there's always a mixed bag of people doing Google ads, local service ads, Nextdoor ads, Bing, Yahoo ads. So there may not be a lot of competition on a couple platforms in certain areas, but there may be a ton of competition on the same platform in other areas. So it's just really testing everything. Like same thing with people used to say about Home Advisor and Angie, right? Like, well, we do really well with that. We get probably 3 or 4 leads a day, and some people are right on top of the leads. They respond right away and all that.
Yeah.
But then other people are like, man, I swear they're giving that lead more than 5 people. It's got to be 10 people, 12 people, because it seems like there's just too many tree companies getting it,
Yeah. I think that responding to leads immediately is ideal. I think that's where some companies fall short. Like I have a really close friend that owns a tree company in a different part of the state, and he gets a lot of leads, but doesn't follow up or send estimates quickly enough. And I think his closure rate's a lot lower because of that. But I try to get on it and go look at the trees or the problem at least within a day or two. And I don't try, I'm not acting desperate to these people, but I think showing that you respect their time it gives them some buy-in, like this company, respects me a bit more than maybe this other guy. So I think hopping on leads as soon as possible is super important.
Yeah, I mean, because people that want to get it done, they want to get it done right away, and they want somebody eager to give them a call and be naturally like, wanting to do this job and wanting to come out and look at the project and wanting to give them information. And so you're right. I mean, if you answer it live, that's always the best. It trumps everything. But if you can't, and you get a lot of leads, it may be good to source some sort of call answering service that can punch the lead into your CRM and send you a notification, hey, you just got a new lead. If you can call people back, if they do leave a message within just a couple of minutes, I know it's almost impossible if you're on the job site and you've got a chipper truck running and all this other stuff. But if you can call them back within a few minutes, you're like 90% more likely to get them on the phone back when you call them. If you wait more than like 15 minutes or 30 minutes, they likely have forgotten that they called you. Like I know I do. Like sometimes you'll start doing something else and your brain has completely switched gears to whatever else you're doing, and you see your phone ring from this number you don't recognize. It's like, that's probably spam. I'm not going to probably get that one, And so then you don't listen to your voicemails for another couple of days, because you just don't listen to your voicemails sometimes for a while. And so it just ends up slipping through the cracks. And I think you're right. I mean, if you can, and we see this all the time, people that answer their phone live, they'll go on 7 out of 10 call-ins as appointments. But people that don't answer the phone live or don't get back to people quickly, they may only go on 3 appointments out of the same 10 calls. So some people just want to get it done right now. And if you can't snag that lead and have a conversation and just talk to them as a human really quick, they're just going to go call somebody else. And it's nothing personal.
Yeah, they're just going down the list.
That's it. Yeah.
And I think forgot what I was going to say. Slipped my mind. Sorry.
No problem. But I mean, it's true. It's just, it's nothing personal with people. Like they're not like, hey, I'm just not going to call this guy back or anything. They just want to get somebody on the horn that they can, express their concerns with their tree or whatever they want to do and talk to somebody. And if you're friendly and you give them a little bit of information, tell them, we can't give you too much till we get out there type thing, but, we'll have somebody come out, between 2 and 5, give them a window of like the next day or day after, whatever, however booked out you are. It's just they're less likely to keep calling. It's like, okay, I got somebody coming out, so I'm not going to call everybody now. You know what I mean? But if you don't answer, they're just eager to get somebody on the phone. So
yeah, I've seen that there's some like AI assistants now you can use for scheduling where you can set up your schedule. I'm busy this time, and so the AI assistant will answer. If it goes to voicemail, it'll just go to the AI assistant. And some people don't like that. Myself as a consumer, I probably wouldn't love that, but it works for some people. So I think that there could be an option there.
it works. It can work. We've kind of had mixed results with it. Some people will talk to the AI. Other people literally want to curse it out as soon as it answers. You know what I mean? Like this is like hot and cold. Like you just never know how people are going to react to it. But it can work, and it can gather all the necessary information that you need to be able to call somebody back and schedule the appointment. Or once the AI is done with the banter back and forth, getting all of your details, it can send the appointment scheduling link as a text right after.
Yeah.
So there is ways to do that. It's just a matter of if you can get all the information out of the customer without annoying them or frustrating them, then it can work. It definitely can work,
Yeah. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you see as far as like what's the success of, I don't know how to word this. Like on my website, I have a form, that people can fill out. It's basically it's a lead submission form, right? What kinds of things do you see that's successful or to have in those forms? Because I know that like too much info, like even more than 5 or 6 blocks, people are like, I'm not getting, at least required blocks are not going to fill them out. So what do you do? What do you like to see?
I think I like to see name, email, phone number. You need their contact information first and foremost. I see some people's contact forms will have name and email, and then it won't have a phone number on there. I'm like, you didn't get their phone number? Like it's pretty tough. And then after name, email, phone number, a drop down with like 5 of your services to select might help. That way they don't have to type something in. So it's a little quicker. You get a little more information. And then you could also have you can either have an appointment form or get a free estimate form that doesn't ask a whole lot. Just submit their details and somebody's going to get right back with them. And then you can have a contact page form that's separate that has like a box where they can type in a little description if they want. Doesn't have to be mandatory. You can uncheck the box like on your form builder to make it not mandatory. Some people may not want to type anything in there. They don't want to be annoyed with having to type something if they have to.
Yeah.
But just name, email, phone number, type of service, and then a comment box if you want to add something like that. And then you can have automations where as soon as that form's submitted, that lead gets a text message right away from your system that says, hey, thanks so much for contacting Utah County Tree Care. We'll be giving you a call here in just a few minutes from this number. And you can even like kind of prep them with what number it is or whatever. Just kind of a good heads up. Hey, we're going to be calling, People, the way I like to word it is text messages get open 98 to 99% of the time. Whereas emails get opened about 30% of the time, maybe 25% in some cases. So text messages are really good. So those are some ways you can automate that as well to where they're kind of looking out for your call,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested in exploring something like that because I don't have a good system right now. And right now it just comes to my email. I mean, it's okay. It works, but yeah, I'd rather be able to respond to them immediately, even if I'm busy.
Right. And there's a way too. You can every contact form submission, you can turn it into an immediate phone call. So what happens is as soon as that form is submitted from that person, your system will generate an outbound call to that lead's phone number. And then it calls your cell phone if you're the one taking those calls. And it'll say, hey, you got a new lead from their website. Press 1 to connect. And you press 1, and then you're on the horn live with that new lead. And you can do that within 20 seconds. You can be on the phone with that lead. We have the capability of do that with our software. Some people want to disable it because it's confusing sometimes. They're trying to answer the phone. It's got this little automated voice. Hey, you got to press 1 to connect. But other people use it, and it's very, very useful because you're on the phone with them like literally within seconds. And they're like, wow, you guys called us back right away,
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because right now I have to copy and paste their phone number and then I lose like who's who. So yeah, that's one thing I need to tighten up a little bit.
Well, you're off to the right track, man. I mean, you've got your website online, so your domain is already getting that seasoning and that time online that you need. Because part of the ranking factors with SEO, now we like to call it search everywhere optimization, because it's not just on search
Mhm.
engines, it's everywhere. Like you need to be on YouTube, you need to be everywhere. But you've got that domain, and so that domain is seasoning. It's getting the age and the trust it needs online for Google, Bing, Yahoo, any of the search engine platforms to rank it, because you can't
Mhm.
fake like only being 6 weeks on the internet or
Yeah.
5 months on the internet. After about a year to 2 years, the playing field starts evening up with search engine
Mhm.
optimization and SEO. But at the very beginning, it's tough to really kind of move up in the rankings because there's people been online 10, 15, 25 years already,
Yeah.
right? And so part of that's just the trust factor. So you got that going. That's great. You got your Google Maps with your reviews. You got local service ads, which are also kind of a subset. Like if your Google Maps are doing well and
Mhm.
you got a lot of reviews, then your local service ads are probably going to do pretty good too, all things
Yeah.
being equal, right?
Mhm.
Then you got your pay-per-click ads. You can do those on Google. You can do those on Bing and Yahoo. Nextdoor's got kind of a platform now where you can do
Mhm.
not pay-per-click. It's more like pay-per-impression type thing,
Mhm.
which can give the awareness in the local community that you're there. You got the mailers. You got email and text marketing. I mean, you can literally be everywhere if you want to be.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're off to the right track there. So congrats on that, man. Taking action and getting that stuff going.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, if you're listening and you're newer in business, you can always buy your domain. There's a lot of website platforms now, like Wix or Square. Not recommending anything. I'm just saying, like, you can go and easily just get your domain and get a website up pretty quickly. And that way you got it going. And then, get
Mhm.
busy for a year or two doing everything else. And then eventually you can revamp everything into a very professional, custom, nice looking website. But you don't need it to start, you know.
No, you can even purchase like a template from Squarespace or Wix or WordPress. Really, and it's really easy. You can get online quick, like within a day.
Yeah. So don't overcomplicate it. If you're just getting started, just kind of get a minimum viable product up. And all these things continue to evolve as you get more cash flow, you grow your business, you start investing more in marketing and advertising. In the early years, and this is with two or three businesses that I've owned already too. Early years, you put forth more energy and effort into your advertising and marketing and spending less. It's kind of the guerrilla
Mhm.
marketing tactics, right? And
Yep.
then as you get the cash flow coming in, you start allocating some of that budget to spending money for people to find you, such as online
Mhm.
advertising, online marketing, things like that, direct mail. So it just kind of naturally evolves as you grow your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And in tree work, like it's a sort of double-edged sword because the busier you get, you either need more equipment or more people. And so it's like a kind of a fine balance depending on which route you want to go. So
That's very true. Well, awesome, man. It sounds like you're doing well. What's any plans for this year or any kind of words of wisdom for people maybe just getting started in their business, and maybe looking to kind of venture out and do the same thing you did, started on the side and really build it up from
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think either having a bunch of cash on hand or having a job where you can do some side work is probably the best route. But I know people that have just jumped right in and been successful. But I think the biggest tip I could give, because I made this mistake, is waiting to have like actual cash flow, net profits before buying expensive equipment. Um, you got to be able to pay yourself at least a little bit before you go out and buy that $100,000 chipper. And luckily, I didn't do that. But I think, yeah, having some proof of concept before getting into a bunch of debt or trying to avoid debt altogether is probably the biggest business tip I could give.
Awesome, man. That's amazing advice. You don't want to get out over your skis too early, but at the same time, you got to kind of get the equipment if you're starting to get the
Hmm.
calls and the business demand, right? It's kind of
Yeah,
like you said, it's kind of a seesaw thing. You got to figure out
yeah.
which way to go with it at some point, make those decisions and move forward. Well, awesome, man. We really appreciate your time and sharing with us today. And good luck with everything this year. 2026 sounds like it's going to be a good year for you. Things are picking up. Busy season's pretty much right now or right around the corner. And
Hmm.
anytime you want to hop back on and give us an update, man, let us know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've been following your podcast for a while now. Got a lot of tips from you, so I appreciate what you're doing too.
Yeah, no problem, man. We love doing this. It's just fun talking to business owners, and most people like to hear from other business owners. That's the reason we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks everybody for watching as well. You guys have a great rest of your week, and check us out at treeservicedigital.com. If you have any questions, comment on the video. If you do, we'll come back and reply to your question. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Tree Service Marketing Profits Podcast. If you're serious about growing your tree service business, visit treeservicedigital.com to learn how Tree Service Digital helps companies just like yours dominate online and explode their business. Don't forget to download the ultimate internet marketing checklist at treeservicedigital.com/checklist and join the community inside the Tree Service Marketing Secrets Facebook group. Until next time, keep climbing, keep cutting, and keep growing your profits.